Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome along then to the KCOM Stadium. It's another night under the lights for the Tigers. It's the second home game of the season, and Hull City welcome Blackburn Rovers this time to East Yorkshire in front of the national cameras. The Tigers have had one of every result so far in the opening three games. Blackburn beat Middlesbrough on Saturday. Both sides backed with confidence from the weekend. The question is, who's going to be flexing the more stronger outfit and getting the 3 points that both teams crave? Tony Mowbray's side did a double over Hull City last year. They managed to come here and win by a single goal to nil, but then made things look easy at Ewood Park. It's a different Hull City team now, though. New stars, new systems, and hopefully new fortunes. Team news tonight for the Tigers looks like this. Eric Lehigh injured, so Robbie McKenzie gets the nod ahead of Leonardo da Silva Lopez. He can only keep his place on the bench, despite setting up Jarrod Bowen on Saturday for the opening goal at Griffin Park. Dan Batty is in for George Honeyman, who we believe is just fatigued, and he doesn't feature at all this evening. Tom Eaves continues at striker, with Dicko missing out altogether. There's a little bit more of a youthful theme on the bench again, with Josh Bowler, of course, Brandon Fleming and Da Silva occupying places. Blackburn look like this evening. Sam Gallagher looks like he's going to lead the line ahead of Danny Graham, who can only find a place on the bench. Adam Armstrong in a 4-2-3-1 system will likely go out wide to trouble McKenzie. If it's not him, it'll be Stuart Downing on the other side, the 35-year-old winger who's played at all different levels of the game, continuing to make his trade in the Championship. There's a couple of former Tigers on the bench this evening for Blackburn, Danny Graham also being one of them, but Corey Evans as well, who of course played here under Steve Bruce. So the Tigers will want to obviously not replicate what happened last season against Blackburn Rovers, a side who were leaking goals all over the place, but the Tigers weren't able to find one under Nigel Adkins. But this is a whole new Tiger coming out onto the KCOM turf this evening. Grant McCann's side much more attacking. They've had plenty of shots against Brentford, 20 in all. They could only hit 4 on target though, so maybe that's something that's been worked on in the couple of days away from the previous match at Brentford. Blackburn, as we've mentioned, beat Middlesbrough last time out, but they've come unstuck against Charlton Athletic, and they were also beaten at the Cottage against Fulham. So, as we've mentioned, the national cameras are here this evening. There's a big audience watching this one. And is this going to be a match where everyone sits up and notices Grant McCann's tactics and shows that Hull City are a force to be reckoned with? Because at the moment, not many believe the Tigers are going to finish high. Will this be a point to prove for Grant McCann's men? Referee this evening, Jeremy Simpson, checks with both keepers to make sure we're all set to go then here at the KCOM Stadium. And the man who scored last year, Bradley Dack, commences this match with Blackburn kicking off, playing from left to right. Yordi Device straight away commanding in the air, puts the ball out for a throw-in with Sam Gallagher, tall presence up front and a little bit more pace. Has struggled with goals in recent times. Nigel Adkins did apparently want to bring him to the KCOM last year. It is Blackburn with the first potential attack on goal. The ball spins up in the air off Kingsley. Headed down, that was by Johnson. Another cross comes in, and it's offside within the opening minute here at the KCOM Stadium. Blackburn come here with just 2 victories away from home in 10. And their visits to Yorkshire haven't been too kind either. Only 2 wins in 11. One of those victories coming against us last season, the other being away at Rotherham United. But Tony Mowbray's men are certainly going to be hoping that they can push higher in the table after last year. These two partnered each other at the top of the bottom half of the table in 13th and 14th respectively. Kingsley gave a better account of himself on Saturday with the ball in hand and throws it into arguably probably the best player on the pitch on Saturday in Stewart. Kingsley loses possession. It's Bradley Dack who fires the ball over the top. He was searching for Adam Armstrong, who's playing on the right-hand side. His pace was a little too much as he overstepped the mark. Surging goal kick from long. Rhys Burke can bring it down, and McKenzie looking to drag it inside. Stewart out to Batty. The ball just straying out of play, so it will be a throw in here at the KCOM. It's taken quickly, with Batty looking to pick out Eves. Bowen couldn't get a sufficient touch. And whacked away. And Rhys Burke will just turn that one out of play. So we're expecting plenty of attacking endeavour from both teams this evening. A slightly different occasion from last year. Played almost a year to the day when these two last met. It was match week number 3 that time when Blackburn came here in the summer sunshine and scored in the first half. The Tigers just didn't offer anything in the second half in response. Potentially you could say it was our worst home performance last year. Grzycki unable to spin away from Elliot Bennett, who captains Blackburn this evening. One of the players who has really moulded into Blackburn's team in recent years. Grzycki. Batty can spin. Now McKenzie. The youth products linking up here, the trio of Batty, McKenzie and Bowen, until that point where McKenzie put it out of play. I think Bowen wanted a bit more of a through ball there rather than it being direct to feet, hence the pace out wide. The Tigers with 3 youth prodigies in their starting 11, with another one on the bench in Brandon Fleming. Nigel Adkins' philosophy of last year to try and integrate the youth. Still being used by Grant McCann. Blackburn at the moment going very aerial and not being too accurate with their long balls to pick out the wide men. The Tigers with another throw-in. Eves jumping high, ahead of Gallagher and battle of the number 9s. And the ball running through all the way back to Christian Walton, who was here last year as a Wigan Athletic man. That goes down, and that's a free kick Blackburn's way. He's going to be the one to watch for Blackburn Rovers this evening, playing in at cam, sitting in behind the striker. Has plenty of shots and has scored plenty of goals. 33 in 87 as a Blackburn man. Stuart Downing, bags of experience. We'll have to wait here just while the referee has a word in that cluster, making sure things don't get messy very early on in this one. 5 minutes gone. Downing delivers. Solid commanding header by Jordi Device. Bennett. Now Downing. Working the space to deliver across. Oh, McKenzie going for the header. And he's got a little bit of fortune there on his side because it's offside anyway, so Blackburn there overstepping the mark once more. Quick free kick taken again, and Rhys Burke forced to clear long. Well won by Stewart. The first real chance the Tigers have had to get forward and attack. Stewart just waits a little bit too long to give it to Irvine. But Batty patiently waiting to deliver. Lovely diagonal ball towards Grzycki. Pinpoint. Kingsley waiting. Clever flick from Irvine. Grzycki shoots, but charged down very comfortably by Blackburn. Irvine's trademark flick, it would seem, in the last few weeks, coming into tuition again there. But Blackburn very firm defensively. Irvine did very well there to try and win the ball and play it upfield. Played away by Device. Irvine feeling he's got another flick in his locker, but it only finds a man in blue and white this time. Bennett. Blackburn will be patient and they will look after the ball as much as possible. They work it wide. Armstrong, again, offside, second time tonight. Showing intentions that he wants to get in behind the defence. But a high line from the Tigers' defence so far had stopped Armstrong in his tracks. Mackenzie does better. Stewart, who is slowly but surely becoming a very popular man here at the KCOM. Bowen, he's wriggled away from one, he gets up onto his feet, and it's actually a handball against him there as he felt the free kick was coming. And played to the whistle, and unfortunately he's given away a free kick Blackburn's way. And he certainly felt there that it was going to be a free kick in his favour as he tried to work his way very fluidly through the Blackburn defence. Bennett into Dak. Stewart coming back and winning the ball, and then free kick goes Blackburn's way. Johnson's quick thinking to drill it wide, and Long is forced into tipping it over the bar there. It was well positioned in the end from George Long. It would have been a very unorthodox goal indeed if it had dropped in. And Blackburn now are going to have the first corner of the evening, and it's something they've had a lot of so far. 27th corner already this season, Blackburn. So the question is, will they be a dangerous threat from them? That coming short. Long punches. It's a pinball scenario, and Blackburn just head it wide of the target. And I, for a minute, was thinking it was going to ripple the back of the net. However, the Tigers are spared there as they weren't able to clear it. Blackburn charging in the end, and just wide of the target the ball drops. Blackburn looking as though they're showing the intent of attacking nature a little bit better than the Tigers, but Hull now have the ball and looking to play here. Kingsley will go back to Yordi Device. Pings it over towards Mackenzie. Batty could get onto this. It's played back by Cunningham. And Walton will give it the old-fashioned whack away as he goes in search of Gallagher. Gets up above Kingsley. Here's Eves. First chance really for him to get the ball into feet and hold it. Bowen calming things down, slowing the tempo. Batty tries to pick out Mackenzie over the top, and the ball sadly runs out of play. Looks as though the Tigers in the opening 10 minutes need to try and connect the dots a little bit better, as they so far haven't looked as well engineered as they was against Brentford. Reesberg doing well there to win the header from a long goal kick by Walton. Mackenzie looked to be a better ball, and Eves struggling to win that one. Batty does win it though, and now Stewart will feed it to Irvine. First real chance here Hull can get into the box. It's Grzycki now who turns back, delivers the ball to Batty, blocked away, and then an appeal for a penalty is given. Only the second time the Tigers have got into the penalty area with real intent, and Jeremy Simpson, the referee, points for a penalty. Blackburn aren't happy. But it was a diving challenge in there by the Blackburn defender, catching the Hull City man and it will be a penalty Hull City's way. And I don't think there are too many complaints on first viewing. Well, Jared Bowen didn't get a free kick earlier on, but now he's got a chance here to take a penalty and make it his third goal of the season. It's Bowen, and it's well saved by Walton. It's Blackburn's fans who are jubilant, and Jared Bowen went for the corner, but Walton, diving to his left-hand side, repels Jared Bowen and keeps it at 0-0. Now here come Blackburn. Gallagher tries to play it in from one end of the pitch to the other. And then it will be a corner. That penalty was a nice height for Walton in truth. But he had to dive at his full ability there to turn that ball away. It was well struck by Bowen in terms of power, but I think if he was going for the top right-hand corner, he needed a little bit more, and that's why it stays 0-0. Short corner, Long will come out and claim. Blackburn weren't happy with the penalty decision. They may feel that justice has been served. In a fast-paced game once again here at the KCOM. Faster than at Griffin Park. Well, Kingsley giving away a free kick there. Almost felt like it was the black and white side of Hull playing there, as Kingsley almost rugby tackling Gallagher off the pitch. Bowen has only ever missed one other penalty for Hull City, and it was here on this ground against Swansea, but that worked him up to go and get 2 goals in the second half, so hopefully we may see a little bit more of the same of Jared Bowen. Hopefully that will be fuel to the fire. Stuart Downing will look to roll back the years with this free kick. He's delivered many crosses before, and that one is a very poor one, which isn't dealt with accordingly either by Hull City, and that will be yet another Blackburn Rovers corner. Tony Mowbray will probably be the happier of the two managers so far as we approach quarter of an hour, as Blackburn get on with things quickly. Cunningham, Downing, Armstrong, good delivery. Batty managing to head that one, and here's Travis. Johnson whipping it in, Irvine managing to head it clear. Eves trying to get a touch, and then Blackburn hit it out of play. The first time they've really put a poor pass in. Eves looking to flick it on. Beaten by Johnson, who is a tormentor against Hull City. Blackburn getting forward here. They've started well. And that's a good-looking header, and it's the frame of the goal which denies Blackburn. Closer and closer still. Went close earlier from a corner kick. And in open play, the ball takes a little bit of the white paint off the crossbar. Great chance inside the penalty area for Blackburn, and the Tigers that time were living a little bit precariously. Blackburn looking to get through. Well-timed challenge there by Rhys Burke, as Armstrong would have been clean through on goal. Grant McCann making lots of notes here and actually calling Cliff Byrne to come and ask for advice. Stewart manages to cushion the ball down. Here's Bowen. Will want to make up for not taking advantage of a free roll of the dice from 12 yards. Kingsley. Back to Jordi Device. Now Burke. Better play there by Rhys Burke, thinking about going back towards long. He's holding on to it for a very long time. And Bowen looking to find McKenzie, but very tight area, not much more Bowen could have done there. Burke going in search of Grzycki. It was a difficult pass to play, needed to be 100% accurate, otherwise the result would have been what we have just seen. Williams out wide, and Cunningham. Travis back to Lenihan. Walton. The presence of Irvine means he's got to hurry along with things. It's just out of play over on the far side. 18 minutes gone here at the KCOM Stadium. And Blackburn slightly the better. If Hull had scored that penalty, it would have made a real difference, as Blackburn will have felt aggrieved. Bradley Dack winning the ball. In comes Kingsley though, channeling up the middle. Irvine, quick feet to find Grzycki, and Kingsley pushing right forward here. Oh, it's played back nicely, but over the top it goes from Batty. I think he didn't realise he would have had the time there to get a touch in and actually steady himself there to try and get his first ever goal at this stadium for the first team of Hull City. Went first time, and the coordinates were all wrong there, and it could only find the Blackburn fans behind Walton's goal. Well, Dack hasn't been as influential so far. Tom Eaves looking to try and break away from the defensive line, but had a Blackburn man wrestling away, but nothing given by the referee. It's now Gallagher heading up the other direction. Strong touch, sees the ball go out of play. The boos from a certain area of the stadium from the Tigers fans. Blackburn fans away to my left-hand side haven't travelled in big number this evening. Now Eaves, and that is offside according to the linesman. And there's not many people left in the East Stand who are sitting on their backsides there, not in protest. Tom Eaves, though, accepts the decision and just moves on. Stewart fighting hard there to try and win possession back, and Irvine does so. Bowen, oh, cleverly threaded. It's Grzycki, but a great tackle in reply there by Elliot Bennett. Grzycki ready to pull the trigger, and Bennett, the captain, leading by example for the visitors, slides in and times his tackle to perfection. But what a ball that was, threaded through. Hull have certainly looked more threatening down the left-hand side. The man they've tried to find, Grzycki on the left, delivers the corner. Free header in the end for Williams, but it will just run out of play for a Hull City throw-in. And Rhys Burke, I'm pretty sure, is wanting somebody to actually come and take this throw-in, but he's going to have to do it himself. Stewart and Batty nearby, and Batty battling. Burke, Stewart, Bowen, lots of men in blue and white shirts around him. Clever play from Dack. Now Armstrong motoring forward, and he's timed his run better, but out comes Long. Super stop from him. Brilliant goalkeeping. Both keepers have shown real attributes in the early stages here at the KCOM Stadium. Armstrong did really well there to time his run, but George Long just gobbled up all his penalty area to make sure he got there on time. Free kick Blackburn's way, and he whacks the ball away in frustration. Walton penalty save and George Long commanding the penalty area. Tigers just trying to get some air into their lungs here as they've worked hard in the last few moments. But both sides literally taking in turns to have an attack at goal. Headed back by Travis. Lenihan. We'll still go back towards Walton, who from open play hasn't had to make too many saves tonight. Bennett heads it down but can only find Stewart. Grzycki now. 3 to aim at. Batty joining in as well. It's Grzycki's ball! Just wide of the target. Irvine getting a good connection, but it just a whisker away from putting Hull City in front. But this is a game full of chances, and it would be a crime if there wasn't a goal in this one. Grzycki looks prominent and looks hungry to make things happen. Wardy Device can't win that one in the air. Kingsley here on the spin will clear it out for a throw-in. Grant McCann not too animated. He's quite a calm, composed manager on the dugout. So too Tony Mowbray. And Blackburn here taking their time as Cliff Byrne offers the ball back. Not directly to Elliot Bennett. Allowing the Tigers to actually get their starting positions. Bennett looking to find Bradley Dack. Well played yet again by Stewart, who again, in this opening half, looks to be playing with purpose and with a point to prove. That'll be a goal kick. That's a back pass there towards George Long, which could have gone horribly wrong. The fans didn't seem too happy that it was going all the way back to the man in green in front of the South Stand crowd. Tigers here, patient with the ball at feet. Similar scenario last year. Looks as though already the Tigers under the what would appear to be the ghost of Nigel Adkins' tactics, clearing the ball long and only finding a throw-in. That's a free kick Blackburn's way. So Blackburn, it's their turn now to pass the ball around the back lines. Ooh, long ball forward. The run by Gallagher. And again, Blackburn offside. They've been offside a big collection of times. And the Tigers' high line has only been really let down once, with the idea of pushing it a little bit higher than normal, trying to catch out the wide men. Flag up over on the far side, free kick going Blackburn's way. Blackburn looking after possession more in this game, and the Tigers, you would say, are almost playing a more counter-attacking style rather than just being the team to get in the face of their opponent. Here's Gallagher. Travis. Williams out wide. Armstrong. No big runs this time. He's having to hold it up as much as possible. just staying in play over on that far side as well. Mackenzie's header, not the best, and Bradley Dack could be in on goal here. It goes out of play, and it's a goal kick and a goal kick only, despite the appeals for handball. Hard to spot from our vantage point here at the top of the West Stand, but there were appeals for handball. May have just hit it into the chest, but Bradley Dack just couldn't get the ball down in the way he wanted to that time. In the end, it just goes out of play in a rather anticlimactic fashion. Mackenzie throwing it in. Stewart. No time to hang around. He's picked out Grzycki very well there. It's now Grzycki to drive here at the Blackburn defender in Bennett. It's Grzycki who tries to play it to the edge of the penalty area again. That looks to be the key formula to try and be successful this evening. Dack looks to send Armstrong away to glory. However, it runs straight through towards George Long. Tigers turn to maybe attack. Batty. Device. Into Eves. Kingsley. Yordi Device going down the line. Didn't look to be the cleanest of connections, really, because Bowen was making a surging run. I think Batty was too. He didn't reach either of them. Williams down at his own touchline, clearing that one away for Blackburn Rovers. Gallagher now being closed in on, and Kevin Stewart really playing with so much confidence just wins the ball back again. Yordi Device just goes back towards George Long. We're a few seconds shy of half an hour. Still 0-0 at the moment, but George Long's got to be commanding here, and he puts the ball out for a throw-in, and the Tigers there looking a little bit loose, trying to play it backwards, nowhere near enough on it. Blackburn were lurking. Irvine intercepting, can't set Hull City in the right direction, and then a free kick goes Blackburn's way as Bradley Dack was kicked on the ground. Blackburn always looking as though they want to get on with things much quicker than usual in set-piece situations. Just want to keep the ball moving as much as possible. Only this time it is a dead ball situation in which they could potentially have a shot at goal here. Well, Dack over this one. Blackburn's main man. And 3 in the wall for the Tigers, and as expected it's a shorter opportunity, and Grzycki looks to clear away. He must have felt there was somebody immediately on the move. He didn't get his head up, and then Blackburn just put the ball out of play. If Grzycki got the ball at feet there and spun, the Tigers were in a 2v2 situation and could have made things happen. Mackenzie in ahead of De Silva. Yordi Device letting the ball run. Ooh, flick there by Irvine, but again well defended, this time by Lenihan. In a game where there's plenty of individuals shining for both sides. Eves initially losing the ball, fighting hard to keep it. And that will just be a goal kick as Eves there went for another piece. And in the end, another anticlimactic scenario. Cunningham, losing the ball in a precious area. Can the Tigers make full advantage of this? Grzycki! Oh, it's the crossbar that denies Hull this time. Here's Irvine. Now Grzycki! Oh, it's just wide again. Two glorious chances for the winger. He couldn't take either, but on both occasions he was narrowly shy of giving Hull City the lead in a game which you just do not know which way it's going to turn next. Grzycki slamming the crossbar and then getting a second bite of the cherry. And this time he went for a curler and just didn't get enough on it to steer it into the top right-hand corner. Walton was beaten, but so was the goal. Blackburn losing it in a very precious area that time, and they were almost made to pay. That header calmly goes back towards Walton. In a game really where both sides look as though they're growing more and more into this. But there are a couple of moments where both sides make a silly mistake which is almost capitalised on. That's a good touch from Armstrong. And a neat pass as well. Blackburn into the penalty area. Gallagher coming, but well defended. That time it was Kingsley putting his body on the line. Another good individual moment. Clever footwork from Blackburn. Out wide, Stewart comes in with a cruncher. Johnson. Cunningham here. Looks to deliver. It's over Gallagher's head. And Bennett can't keep it in. But once again there, good defensive work from Kingsley, managing to actually get in the right position, stick the leg out without giving away a foul. Managing to get a solid connection on it too. Gallagher. Well, here's Irvine. He's got to hold and look after that one. Kingsley to Stewart, the ball runs. He gets away with it. As Irvine manages to prize it away from Travis and nearly picking out Grzycki, who could have had the invitation to get into the box himself. McKenzie can't win that one. Stewart's going to battle hard here. There's an advantage given. And then the ball is played through with too much power. Gallagher's not going to get onto that one. And Blackburn in the last 5 minutes, all of a sudden, just beginning to unravel a little bit slightly. They looked well oiled in the opening 10, 15, 20 minutes, being able to connect the passes, get into the penalty area. Long has only been tested twice though. But again, Hull City at times lose the ball very cheaply. Just need to lower the tempo slightly with 10 minutes before the break in a game which somehow is still 0-0. Here's Irvine, clever play to Kingsley. Looks to play it through to Batty. Has a look back at the referee and asks about a potential free kick, but Jeremy Simpson was never going to award anything there. Blackburn looking to come in from the left-hand side. Here's Dack. Travis. Blackburn are patient this time, but Hull's midfield tucking right in. Here's Downing now. Looked to be a fair delivery, but headed out of play. Yet another corner coming up then for the away side. Grant McCann looks a little bit anxious here from this set piece, hoping his side can defend this one. Decent looking cross, and it's a lottery as who's going to head that one. Out comes Long, And he was caught in the air there, despite being strong and actually prizing some of the ball. He was taken out in the air, and the referee points for a free kick. There's been much less entertaining games where there's been more goals. And Hull City at the moment still locked here at 0-0 with Blackburn. Both sides have hit the frame of the goal. Bowen missed penalty. Stewart going charging in, and the free kick actually goes Blackburn's way, excuse me. Yellow card comes out for Stewart. And that was just for being a little bit careless in the air, even if the Hull City fans will disagree. Bennett from the free kick then for Blackburn. Lenihan. The Irishman picks out Bennett. Good play this from Blackburn. They could open the Tigers up here. Mackenzie's got to be strong, and it hits the post. Once again, Blackburn Rovers strike the frame of the goal. And that was a move which really deserves something for the side from the Red Rose County. However, it remains 0-0. And it's almost as if there is a curse on the KCOM this evening, because the ball simply won't go in. Mackenzie was all at sea, really, at right back. And Long was also beaten. But again, that ball is not hitting the back of the net just yet. Bowen, can he start to ignite something? Looking to join in the attack here. The give and go. Clever footwork on the edge of the area. But the ball, the killer pass, a little bit too strong. 5 minutes to go before half-time. And even though it's 0-0, there won't be many fans grumbling that this has not been entertaining. Here's Dak. Lenihan finds Bennett as Blackburn slow things down here and look to try and piece together a key move once more. 1-2 attempt, looking to find Gallagher. Blackburn here creeping once more towards Hull City's final third. Downing working it wide. Side that has been quietly built by Tony Mowbray. And they carve out a decent looking cross, which Long again collects very calmly and looks to try and set Hull City off straight away, as Eves will give chase, and in the end it just runs out for a throw-in. Not sure who'll be the more happy manager really in the way things are going. Grant McCann and Tony Mowbray may both be a little bit annoyed that their sides haven't been able to find the back of the net just yet. There is still time at the end of this first half. 4 minutes of normal time to go. It's a game that could have had many goals. That's over the head of Cunningham out wide from Walton's clearance. So it's now Hull City's turn to try and piece something together to try and finally end this curse which sits on the KCOM Stadium around the goals, because the ball just doesn't want to go in yet. Can Krasicki win this? Just stuck his toes out there to maybe put off Lenihan, which forces him into a clearance for a throw-in. Kingsley, Krasicki, and now Irvine. Sliced off his foot. Stewart gets the better of Bradley Dack this time. They're having a good battle in the midfield, them two. Stewart trying to win it this time. Burke in possession. Batty trying to work it into space here to find an opening. Kingsley back towards Jordi Device. Looking to try and play it down the line. Here's Eves. Looking to go wide, and it's not picked up by Mackenzie, who's now got to really sprint back and dig deep for his defence here as Blackburn come forward on the counter. And for the third time, Blackburn strike the crossbar. Bradley Johnson this time. Check the dimensions of the goal frame. Are they too small? Because Blackburn have struck it 3 times. Thankfully, the dimensions are working in Hull City's favour rather than Blackburn's. Free kick goes Hull City's way. Irvine is still lying on the ground, which is why Jeremy Simpson has brought this one back. Batty. Gwazicki. Batty was lurking into the penalty area. Mackenzie. Play this one back towards George Long and keep things calm and composed. Blackburn compact at the moment in the middle. Long launching it. Here's Bowen. Looks to get it down in the penalty area. Just maybe does a little bit too much, but he's going to fight hard to try and win it back. Armstrong, delicate touch. Blackburn will try and utilise the space. Here's Bradley Dack. Midfield has got back behind the ball, so Blackburn won't be able to counter this time. And that's a pretty poor ball back into the defence there, because it forces the momentum back towards the goalkeeper. Kingsley. George Long's clearance. Looked to have been won there by Tom Eves. Just a minute left of this extraordinary first half here at the KCOM Stadium. Cunningham out wide, Blackburn looking after the ball here. They may be the team that gets the last attack of the half in a first 45 which has had plenty of opportunities. Travis trying to pick out Dack. Kingsley puts enough on it to go back towards Long. Well won by Irvine. Lenihan will shield that one. Helped back by Williams towards Walton. And that brings an end then to the first half. An extraordinary half here at the KCOM Stadium. 0-0 does certainly not do this any justice, because it has been far from a 0-0 game. There's been plenty of chances for both sides. This could have been easily within the 3-3s of the 4-4 regions. It could have been such a crazy scoreline, but unbelievably it's more crazy that it remains 0-0. Jared Bowen missing a penalty after 11 minutes, hasn't had too many chances since. Kamil Krasicki for Hull City has had 2 glorious chances. He smacked the post and then the ball dropped wide. Speaking of the framework, Blackburn have either shaved it or full-on smacked it at least 3 times in this first half. Bradley Johnson hitting the post right at the end of the half. Really, both sides should have at least 1 or 2 goals, but amazingly, after 45 minutes, it's got to be one of the most entertaining 45 minutes on record, with the scoreline at 0-0. So second half then about to get underway here at the KCOM Stadium in a crazy opening 45 minutes, which didn't produce any goals. It could easily be around 3-3 or 4-4 in this second half. But you have to imagine how on earth there hasn't been any goals, even though we have just witnessed 45 minutes of fast-paced attacking football. Jared Bowen missing a penalty. The frame of the goal has been struck in total 4 times in the first half, and there's been some narrow misses in between. Once again, keepers are ready, and it doesn't look as though there are any changes for either team at the start of this second half. So will these players on the pitch be going closer? Will they be getting their bearings right? We'll wait and see here at the KCOM Stadium. Irvine, clever flick, and it will just pouch into the path of Grzycki, but Batty scrapping, fast-paced, early promise for the Tigers. Clever footwork, Grzycki into the box, and it only finds a man in blue and white to turn it away when the Tigers were queuing. But the statement of intent is there in the opening minute here at the KCOM of the second half. Ball comes in again. Grzycki goes over. There's no penalty appeal that time. Stewart wrestling with Bradley Dack in a very key battle in this fixture. And that brings a free kick Blackburn Rovers' way. Key battle then in this second half will be Kevin Stewart versus Bradley Dack. Kev Stewart on a yellow card, but if you can keep him quiet, that might just start to frustrate Blackburn Rovers in this championship encounter and maybe swing the pendulum a little bit more in Tigers' favour in terms of dominance, because even though some people feel the black and amber are being more dominant, it looks very much even. Walton comes out, has to shuffle back into his penalty area because Tom Eaves was charging like a runaway train. Be nice to see Eaves get a few chances with the laces facing goal, because at the moment he's been the hold-up maestro to try and get the ball out to the wingers. Here's Cunningham, finds Williams. It's his turn to play a little back heel. Bowen shoves Cunningham to the ground. It'll be a free kick, and very quick talking to with Jared Bowen. Bradley Johnson has hit the crossbar twice this evening for Blackburn Rovers as he receives the ball back to Williams. Cunningham. That's an inviting cross, but in the end it's well judged by George Long. Looks to try and set Hull City off at a fast-paced Irvine. He's threaded it beautifully down the line for Grzycki, who accelerates on! And it was Batty arriving ahead of Bowen, and once again Blackburn repel the chance. But this is positive from Hull City, kicking on from the first half. In comes the cross again, Eaves looking to get there, and that will be once again shepherded away by Blackburn, who may look to counter. Armstrong running at Mackenzie, and Mackenzie here managing to keep up with Blackburn's number 7, and it will be a corner Blackburn's way. Quick corner this time. Armstrong. Oh, it's an inviting cross! And it's headed away from goal rather than being turned in. And Gallagher there, if he gets his angles right, he's putting Blackburn in front. However, there was a touch of unselfishness about the Blackburn man at the back stick. And Gallagher really should have put Blackburn in front, and he should have done it on his own. He hasn't netted since January 2018, Sam Gallagher, when playing for Birmingham. Armstrong. Now he's got a pocket of space. He can size up a cross. That's turned behind by Jackson Irvine. It stays in play. Mackenzie got to be careful he doesn't give a foul away. Linesman having a really good look down the touchline, but the ball just staying in play. Krasicki coming out there, asking about a potential free kick. And he's furious with Jeremy Simpson, the referee, who just trots away, not interested. Williams is ball forward, and that will be ushered back into the path of George Long, who's got all the sight of the pitch ahead of him, and just throws it out towards Stewart. Bowen. Mackenzie. Eves doing well, very well. Batty, not the best starting position, but that's well shielded by Blackburn Rovers. It'll be just a goal kick. First 5 minutes, setting the intentions for the second half to carry on in the same methods as the first. Walton taking his time to clear this one. A save yet for Blackburn Rovers in the first half earlier on. Long ball forward, searching for his very good control. Now he can run at the defence. Free kick goes Blackburn's way. Well, it was a 50-50 as to which way that one was going to go. Eves was charging. Blackburn defence getting back, and then Eves was drawn into a scrapping match on the edge of the penalty area. And that decision actually brings frustration and chants from the crowd, which aren't what we really want to hear. That was decent play by Mackenzie. And now it's Blackburn's turn to vent their frustrations as they feel it should have been a corner. The men in black are getting a bit of a hard time from all areas. Krasicki knows he wants to just face up to the defence and drive at them. Eves. Well, free kick goes Blackburn's way. And most of the crowd are probably rattling through their brains as to how Jeremy Simpson has given it that way, when Tom Eves was the man who was being pulled and barged about. Stewart. This one will be left to run out of play. 7.5 minutes gone in this second half. Tackle by Eves. Looks to have left his boot in slightly. The yellow card is coming out. Tom Eves, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, has had a real torrid time with the referee. In the end, he's going to be the man who's going to get a booking here. Left his foot in that time. That might have been a little bit more of frustration rather than anything. And Jeremy Simpson is now explaining and brandishing why the yellow card is coming. Blackburn mixing things up from their set pieces. Took it short that time. Cunningham. Offside is the call from the linesman, who, despite the sarcastic chants, the two linesmen have been pretty pinpoint this evening and have been spot on for most of the decisions. Tigers fans finding their voice. Grzycki. There's always promise whenever both sides come forward. Kingsley pushing right forward, well won back by Batty. That's a decent looking cross. Walton comes, and with long arms is able to prize that one in when it looked as though it could have been looping away from him. Press from Eves and Bowen. Here's Bradley Dack. Pressure from all areas coming to him. Clever footwork though from Dack. He's managed to get away, and then in comes Mackenzie, and then a free kick. And Bradley Dack feeling the effects that time. He's got a bit of a boot in that one. Well, the Tigers players swarmed around Bradley Dack that time to try and eliminate the space, and Bradley Dack made a bit of a mockery of most of the people in black and amber, was able to get away, and then Mackenzie coming in with a good slide challenge. Once again, this little break here might just work in favour of the Tigers players, who again have worked extremely hard. And it's an opportunity for the Tigers fans to go through their greatest hits over on the east side of the ground. 10 minutes into the second half, 0-0, first break in what is a frantic game. Well, Bradley Dack hobbling his way off. Tony Mowbray coming out to see if he's all right. But if Bradley Dack is looking as though he's fit to carry on at the moment, Blackburn Rovers here with a free kick. Oh, it's a good connection, but that one in the end just drops through harmlessly for George Long, who shows his intentions to Sam Gallagher. Get out of my penalty area, you're not coming back in. It was "We shall not be moved" by Sam Gallagher. And up to the other end of the pitch as Batty puts the press in. Williams just holding on to the ball. Relegated and promoted with Blackburn previously. Blackburn just slowing things down here. Here's Cunningham. Good chest control from him. Immediately looking to try and find Armstrong down the line. That's cleared away by Reece Burke. Blackburn look a team which will maybe cause a couple of clubs problems in this division. But are the Tigers now going to strike a chord here with Grzycki? Oh, given away. Grzycki ushering and commanding the players around him to stay away from the ball and take charge. Stewart. He now picks out Irvine. Kingsley. Batty. It's left by him. Eves could have got a touch. Chance! Oh, and wide of the target. And again, it's just whiskers wide. Dan Batty with the opportunity on the edge. And many of the Tigers fans were about to leave the edge of their seats in celebration. That was a glorious chance. And Dan Batty was oh so close to putting Hull finally in front. Little check to see how Bradley Deck is coping. Tony Mowbray is on the back in his chair, maybe deliberating as to whether or not to change things slightly. Here he is, holding off Kevin Stewart and battling away well. He tries to flick it and keep it in, but he can't do so. Half an hour to go here at the KCOM. Still, we wait the first goal in a game with a smorgasbord of efforts. Kingsley, well, he's taken him out, and I wouldn't be surprised if the yellow card comes here. That is a yellow card for Kingsley, who in the end just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to be beaten so easily. And it could have caused his side a few problems. Went to panic mode, just brought the player down in a legal fashion. Looking at where the positions are, Dack is still got a hobble on. Gallagher looking to maybe time his run well here. Bradley Johnson in the mix too. Plenty of options for Blackburn. Everyone back for the Tigers. In it comes. Flick on! And it is touched in! Blackburn Rovers have finally scored. The deadlock is broken. And everyone in blue and white is over in the celebrations. Hull have got it all to do here at home. It's Derek Williams who comes up with the goal for Blackburn Rovers. It's a good delivery, and the man who hasn't scored in 2 years since playing in a 4-2 victory against MK Dons has found the moment there to flick the ball into the back of the net. And it's a very cruel goal on Hull City. Couple of chances to start the half, and Blackburn have hit them with a sucker punch. Blackburn are going to make a change here. Gallagher coming off, and the former Tiger Danny Graham coming on. Gallagher taking his time. Is that going to stoke up Hull City here in a game where they haven't been able to take chances so far? Let's not be too negative, because Hull will still create chances, but the Tigers are behind here for the first time at home since playing Sheffield United last year. 1 defeat in 15 home games. Grzycki. Is it going to be an instant reply? Bowen flicks it back. And in the end, Blackburn managed to clear it. Danny Graham's first touch. Dack gets there. Bennett. Suddenly the game swings in favour of Blackburn Rovers. Here's Dack. Looks to be getting back to full fitness. In comes the cross. And that's cleared away by Irvine, who's been a little bit quieter in this second half. Grant McCann may now just feel it's time for changes to be made, and he's actually pointing down the touchline for somebody to come on, and Josh Bowler has been summoned. And this going to be Jared Bowen making his way off potentially. You would probably think so out of the two performances of the wingers tonight. Good play by Johnson. Cunningham made a difference on the left-hand side for Blackburn, replacing Nyambi. It's not a good touch by the Blackburn man over on the far side. Armstrong kicking thin air. 25 minutes to go. Mackenzie looking to try and pick out Eves. Batty going to work hard to keep it in. There's going to be two changes here. Josh McGuinness is going to come on, along with Josh Bowler. Well, that goal will change the complexion of the game here. You would feel maybe now Blackburn will tuck up, but is that going to invite the Tigers to have more chances? Reece Burke across towards Jordi Device. Blackburn have not won 3 consecutive games against Hull since 1979. 2 wins in 10 away as well. Here comes the change, the first one anyway, and it's Dan Batty making his way off. So looking at the way things are shaping up then, Tom Eaves is coming off for Josh McGuinness. So Bowler has come on here on the right-hand side, and McGuinness going up top. And where does that leave Jared Bowen? It's an interesting system potentially. See how that goes. Whether or not Bowen is now just playing as an out-and-out forward. Dak loses his footing. McGuinness comes out to try and get involved straight away. Here's Dak. Bennett making a huge surging run, but Johnson has the ball. That's a big tackle coming in from Jordi Device, and it had to be. Frantic pace from Jared Bowen. Now then, he's got the chance to maybe open the legs and get to the penalty area. It's still Bowen going on! And he's brought down, but there was a piece of the ball taken that time. And the man who made the challenge at the back, slowly to his feet. And still down as Downing has possession. Blackburn carrying on. I think it might be Travis who's down on the ground for Blackburn. Up and hobbling in a game that has produced lots of big challenges. He's staying off the pitch for now. Here's Bowen. Bowen shoots, but straight into a defensive wall again. Bowen now, once more. Hasn't really got anywhere to go this time, Jared Bowen. Looks as though he's moved over to the left now. Almost playing in a free roam, attacking midfield role, Jared Bowen now. Bradley Dack. Travis back in the equation. Downing. May not have the pace anymore, but he's still got the footwork as he tees it up for Cunningham. Johnson, McGuinness scrapping hard to try and win back the ball. Well, we're over halfway through the second half and Hull City trail at home. And will it be a clean sheet for Blackburn Rovers for consecutive games? something they failed to achieve all season last year, as the offside flag goes up. Hull getting on with things quickly. Faint cries from the other side of the ground for Hull to start working it forward. McKenzie looking to have a run. Stewart has done enough to keep it in play, and he feeds it back all the way to Long, who now gives it to Jordi Device. A whole bank of 5 waiting for the ball to come forward, and it is played forward looking for Josh McGuinness, and Blackburn forced to clear it away. Stewart, they've gone route 1. Stewart. There's still plenty in this match, you would have to feel. But just the way the Tigers have had chances in the first half, they need to stay positive. Here's Bowen. He looks to try and arrow it out wide towards Bowl. A fantastic touch. What can he make happen from the right-hand side? Looks to chip it through. There's no man getting onto that one. It will be just a goal kick. Hull City still have 1 substitution to hand, and you would have to say it's going to be John Terrell who would be the man to come on, but the question is, where do you fit him now in this puzzle? Still looks like a 4-3-3. Looks as though Bowler's just playing in a very wide position of 3 centre midfielders, and then expecting maybe Bowen to drop back in, and maybe Josh McGuinness as well to go and press. Kingsley out wide. Jordi Device. McKenzie off on a run here, and he might just have timed it well. Didn't win it in the air. This will go through to Walton, who is susceptible to late goals, as we know, against Hull City. Last year for Wigan, 89th minute winner for Jordi Device. Will there be a same scenario here? It's Long who clears it up towards McKenzie. Bowler chests it. Looks to be a clever ball by McKenzie. And Blackburn's defence doing enough there with Williams, the goal scorer. In comes McKenzie, and that'll be a free kick given. Joe Rothwell set to come on for Blackburn meanwhile. And the changes that Bradley Dack is going to make his way off. So Blackburn's star man being withdrawn here with 18 minutes to go, to a standing ovation from the Blackburn Rovers fans. So Bradley Dack makes his way off. No goal tonight for him. Making his way off, maybe a little bit annoyed that he's come off. And final change for the Tigers, Robbie McKenzie coming off here to be replaced by Leonardo da Silva. Leo da Silva is on. So will he be instrumental in trying to pick out Jared Bowen? Looking at the system, it's almost like a 4-2-4. It's so attacking minded. Here's Stewart. He's lost the ball, and now Blackburn have options. The man they went to pick out, Armstrong, was offside. So Leo da Silva working out on this right-hand side with an assist on league debut for Jared Bowen. We'll need something to happen again, you may feel, tonight. Burke. Da Silva. Calmly gets the ball back towards George Long. Every time Hull City have the ball now, it's almost like a flat line of 5 waiting for the ball to come forward as Hull go all-out attack. And we're leaving little spaces as Downing, piercing shot, saved by George Long comfortably. Blackburn coming forward with Johnson, who has been a thorn in Hull City's side on many occasions in the past. Here's Downing. Cunningham. Decent footwork, not much to aim at going forward, so he's off on a solo run here, Cunningham, and he's still going! And he's saved by Long there, but that was a bit too easy that time. Tiredness may be starting to prevail for Hull City, but Cunningham, with all the confidence in the world there, running through in a lazy fashion, but Long comes out and saves. Oh, clever cross! And Long comes out and manages to get his fingertips to it. And then he takes command himself and puts the ball out of play for a throw-in. Having to take all of it into his own hands there, George Long, in defensive matters. First of all, getting his fingertips to it to keep it in play, and then managing to win the foot race to clear it away. Free kick Blackburn's way. It's always going to happen as Grzycki bumps into the man. Grant McCann has played all his cards from the bench. Now he's got to hope that the 11 men on the pitch can salvage something for the Tigers fans here who've turned out tonight in our second league game. Graham, the target man, brilliantly brought down by Leo Da Silva. Stewart, he's found Bowen. Bowler. Can he make something happen this time? Cuts inside and blocked by Blackburn, who have time now to try and put men behind the ball. And that is launched away. Blackburn with nothing up front. Danny Graham trying to look after the ball as much as possible, but now Hull City with their sights set on maybe trying to get forward. Irvine's touch goes out of play. Five games in the Championship tonight in these early stages. Sheffield Wednesday, Bristol City, Birmingham, Blackburn and Middlesbrough are the sides who look to be taking all the points at the moment, and in all games there's only been one side which have managed to find the back of the net. There's 13 minutes for the Tigers to change things and try and get themselves on level terms here to really give Blackburn something to think about in how they set up for the final few moments if they can. Williams. Leo Da Silva looking immediately to see what's ahead of him. Irvine, now Bowen, could make things happen. Bowen just trundling forward. Gets himself stuck and digs himself into a hole. Trying to do it all himself that time, Jarrod Bowen. Now he's fighting to try and get back and dig in and try and win the ball back for Blackburn. But getting away calmly is Rothwell. Armstrong. Travis and Armstrong exchanging passes here. And now Armstrong. And that will be a corner. This will chew into the time ever so slightly. It's Blackburn's cross. Didn't beat the first man, so Kingsley can head away. Well, Blackburn now looking to maybe try and get that second goal. It was good work, though, by Kevin Stewart. The ball has stayed in play over on that far side. Kevin Stewart showing real endeavour to just try and win the ball back and cover all the ground. The bowler, not a good challenge that time, and I think he may get a yellow card coming. Bowler gets a booking. That's his first ever yellow card as a professional. So that's 4 Tigers players who've picked up yellow cards this evening. Well, Blackburn have been a little bit more sensible. Blackburn's defence watertight. 4 now. There's not been many times last year where the Tigers went behind and then came back to win. Well, Tigers man got a touch. Travis's header. Blackburn now looking to hold on to possession a little bit more. Armstrong. Johnson's delivery. And that's headed away again by Yordi Device. This could pop to Josh McGuinness, who's caught. That will be a free kick. Hull wanted to play the advantage. Yellow card comes out now. Blackburn trying to run the clock down as much as possible as well. That was a big challenge in there on Josh McGuinness, who hasn't had a shooting opportunity yet. That's the 5th man to go into Jeremy Simpson's book tonight. Jarrod Bowen penalty miss could prove so costly the way things are going. Yordi Device's delivery. Oh, McGuinness gets up well. Bowen shoots! And that will be wide of the target. Couldn't wrap his foot around that one. It's good Blackburn defending again there to put enough pressure on to really stop Bowen from doing what he wanted to do. Walton is a man who likes to take his time as much as possible. And gets into his own goal before lacing it away. Well won by Kingsley, but Grzycki can't win it, and now Bennett will look to chew up all that available space. It's Armstrong into the penalty area. That's shielded well enough by Stewart. He has to sacrifice a corner. Blackburn taking their time. In comes the delivery. Oh, headed down. Handball given. It's a free kick in favour of Hull City. Last time Blackburn won away from home by nilling an opponent was the 12th of January. Against Millwall when they won 2-0, and again that was in front of the national cameras. Bowler looking to try and win it. Rhys Burke manages to head it back. We've ended up in a situation here where a draw is what we're looking to salvage. Blackburn get the throw in. Well, Blackburn now starting to run the clock down, and Jeremy Simpson just giving the first real indication that he's not going to hang around for Blackburn's antics. Look at the clock, 6 minutes of normal time left to go, but there will be stoppage time with Bradley Dack going down. Here's Leo Da Silva. Manages to keep the ball, but was unable there to pick out Bowler, who was off on his merry way. Johnson. Wide it goes. Blackburn here with a chance to finish things off, but it's cleared away by Jordi Device. Players have been mentioning how fitness has been so key and pivotal, but Hull have only had 4 shots in this second half compared to the 12 they chalked up away at Griffin Park, in a result which many were looking at and maybe suggesting that Hull are a side to be dealt with in the Championship. But Blackburn also have proved quite a big point this evening. Cleared out of play by Rhys Burke, but now time the enemy. Downing arrows it over to the other side here. Armstrong, the recipient, looking to get around Kingsley. The ball will come in, and that again could have been the moment, but it could still happen for Johnson, who shoots wide of the target. But again, really at the back post, Blackburn just looking to nod it down into a teammate rather than going for glory. Rhys Burke rallying the troops, trying to get everyone motivated for one last push here at the KCOM Stadium. Bowler headed back in play, back into the middle for Leo Da Silva. McGuinness has done well. Bowler now. Bowler looking to try and prize the ball into a teammate, but once again he can only find the byline, and it looks as though the Tigers are running out of ideas. Grant McCann and Cliff Byrne will look back at this game, and the way things are going, they will be looking back at this wondering how on earth Hull City have not been able to score in this match. Danny Graham hasn't had much impact since coming on. Bowen looking to put the pressure on Walton, who again just gives it a good solid clearance away. Kingsley. And that's sliced out of play. Looks a little bit angry with himself there in back play, Kingsley. Rothwell. Walton. Well, not much time left. Final 2 minutes of normal time. Hull City need to find something. Otherwise, the first 4 games will have shown more negativity rather than positivity, having picked up 2 wins and a draw in the space of 10 days. Grzycki trying to play it through. Throw in there for Hull City. Irvine. Stewart. Jordi Device. Again, trying to fire it down the line. Bowen's going to have to fight really hard for that one, but it's a ball which was just inviting for the defender to come out and shield. Tigers don't have really much physical presence out wide. Fourth official this evening, Mr. Andy Woolmer, has got the board in his hands. The more minutes, the better. In our scenario, Blackburn will be hoping it's shorter. Blackburn losing their opening away game of the season 2-0 at Fulham. It looks as though they're heading towards 3 points here. Irvine, he can get it down and have a good look at what's available. He's gone looking for Grzycki, and clever play by Bennett. Jordi Device, it'll be his turn to try and send the ball forward. McGuinness looking to win it. It's brought down by Stewart. Rothwell looking to cause problems. Clever play by Irvine to find Grzycki. 5 minutes of injury time, but Grzycki's ball in. De Silva needed a solid connection, and he's blazed it wide. Needed to be a solid connection, just needed to put his foot through it. Kevin Stewart is tonight's man of the match. Fantastic performance from him. John Buckley getting ready to come on here for Blackburn in their third and final change, and Adam Armstrong is the man who makes his way off to yet another standing ovation from the Blackburn supporters who have travelled from west to east this evening. So this will bring another 30 seconds of stoppage time. Well, another minute, because of course you can't have just 30 minutes of stoppage time. On comes Buckley, 19 years of age, from Blackburn's academy. He's been booked in 5 of his last 10 matches. May get booked tonight for time wasting if he's in that sort of mood. Walton clears away. Jordi Device looking to head it on. Irvine. Grzycki now, has he got anything left to try and make things happen? Went to find Bowen. He's been playing over on the same side. Leo De Silva has done well there, fresher legs to keep it in play. Jordi Device. Burke. And Tigers haven't really got many options further afield. Here's Stewart. McGuinness has his arm up, signalling he wants it. The ball is now delivered. Could that be a free kick? Bowler goes down and there's appeals for a penalty. Well, there should have been maybe either a free kick or a penalty. Grant McCann with his hands in his face. The dugout certainly thought so. And Cliff Byrne asks a question to the fourth official, as Bowler there just ran into the Blackburn man rather than there being a meaningful challenge. Guinness goes towering. Now it goes out of play. And that touch. Look at each other. McGuinness's head just drops down ever so slightly. Reece Burke clears it long, but Blackburn repel. Stewart just trying to get the ball forward. He couldn't do much more there. And he's just been caught out as well. It's Blackburn here with Downing. Veteran versus prospect. And that's out of play. If Downing had gone down towards the corner flag, he would have been able to eat some time up. Here's Stewart. Time now very much against Hull City. Irvine finds Grzycki. He's going to have to work hard to get there first, and he has done. Maybe one last chance. Clever ball, it's Bowen! Did everything right, Jared Bowen. Made the potential connection happen, but good defence from Blackburn. Stewart's cross, Yordi device is coming, but out comes Walton. Walton taking as much time as possible. Clemmy is clutching his head. Look at the watch, there's not much time left. We are into the 5th minute of stoppage time. Will Jeremy Simpson give another minute here for potential time wasting and the extra substitution? It has to go forward. And up it goes, McGuinness leaps. Blackburn's defence has been rugged from start to finish, it would seem. Blackburn looking after possession. In comes Stewart. The whistle isn't going to Jeremy Simpson's mouth just yet. Here's Bowler. Now De Silva loses his footing. Is that the moment that it all ends for the Tigers in this fixture? Downing. Forward it goes. Reece Burker. Look at the watch. And that's it. It is all over here at the KCOM Stadium, and there's a few boos from the Tigers fans, which I think are a little bit unfair, because Hull City dug deep in the first 45 minutes to try and make things happen, and I think the reaction of the way the players sink to the turf tells you everything, because the Tigers in the first half certainly did enough to come away with enough opportunities which could potentially have won 1 or 2 games in other matches. However, Blackburn were able to stop Hull City whenever they could, especially in the second 45. It's the same scoreline as last year. Blackburn have won by 1-0. Their goal scorer being Derek Williams, who managed to get his first goal in 2 years in a Blackburn Rovers shirt. When Hull made their substitutions, they didn't really produce too much to really give the Tigers a cutting edge when we needed it. Jared Bowen's penalty miss, so key at full time. The chances kept coming, but they were constantly repelled by Blackburn, who could have had more goals themselves. They hit the frame of the goal 3 times and had some great chances as well in the second half. It's their fans going home happy. The Tigers have been beaten. Only 1 defeat in 15 before tonight's match, but Blackburn have come to town and come away with all 3 points to maybe get their season up and running in a positive nature. Bristol City are next then for the Tigers at the KCOM. Not much time to put things right, but hopefully we will put things right on Saturday. Final score here at the KCOM: Hull City 0, Blackburn Rovers 1.